Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things. You are about to hear my opinion. Do your own research.
When I was a kid, there was a hole in the ozone layer. They said it was because of spray cans. And it was over Australia. That's why they said it was so hot there. But then they just stopped talking about it because it went away. But then it came back. And then it went away again. And it turns out it's a natural phenomenon. And it happens every year. It has nothing to do with us. But it's kind of funny that we tried to blame people who use spray deodorant and hairspray, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That was a huge thing when I was a kid. Everyone was like, oh, the chlorofluorocarbons, right? I think that's what it was, the CFCs and the hairspray. We're not allowed to have those. Don't use those. It's making a hole in the ozone layer. And then silence about it. I don't know if it actually does come and go. I haven't done enough research about it. I just know that when I was little, everybody was like all freaking out about it. And not so much anymore. Why not?
Far beyond the stars lies a place where the universe seems to vanish. It is called the Eridana Supervoid, a cold, empty region spanning over 1 billion light years. No galaxies, no stars, just darkness. This supervoid lines up with a strange cold spot in the cosmic microwave background, a chilling silence in the afterglow of the Big Bang. Some scientists think it's just a rare void. Others say it could be the scar left by a colliding universe, or something even more terrifying. It is not just empty, it breaks the rules we thought the universe followed.
Space, the final frontier. We are learning more and more about space every day, and space is a pretty scary place. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there that we just don't understand. I mean, we think we do, and then we learn something else, and we're like, hey, we were wrong. And yeah, it's a scary place.
The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releases an ominous nuclear war warning, a very graphic warning of the cost of a nuclear war. Donald Trump issues an evacuation order of non-essential personnel in embassies in the Middle East, as well as dependents of service members in military bases in the Persian Gulf. Iran issues a threat to the U.S. saying we'll strike your bases if Israel strikes our nuclear sites. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth issues a statement saying that Iran is pushing now for a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump is asked by a reporter if he can get a deal done with Iran, to which he responds, I don't know anymore. Iran and Israel are jamming their airspaces. Gaza is completely on fire. Everyone is almost positive that a strike is going to happen this weekend, with Israel launching an attack against Iran. They are warning ships to not enter the Persian Gulf. Could this be it? Could this be the beginning of World War III, starting in the Middle East with our ally Israel? All this while there are protests on the street in pretty much every major city in the US, and more to come on June the 14th. If you guys aren't prepped, you better start getting prepped as fast as you can, reasonably, within your means.
I don't know about you, but I feel like we've been on the brink of World War III for the last 2 years. You know, tensions get high and then they come back down, and then they get high and then they come back down, and right now they're at a boiling point again. It's a little more intense here in the States now that we've got all these riots going on and this protest planned for June 14th, which is tomorrow, but everybody just be safe. Don't do stupid things. Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order. Not here, not in the state of Florida. So to make it real simple, if you don't want to have any of those things happen to you, obey the law. Go protest all you want. Do it peacefully. Stand on the mountaintops and yell your opinion, your views. We invite that. But don't you dare break the law, because it won't go well for you.
Why aren't we hearing a lot more speeches like this coming out of our law enforcement? That is the best message ever. That is the job. Hey, we have a job. We're gonna do our job. And that needs to be spoken loud and clear for everybody all across the country, because you don't break the law. That's your job. Don't break the law, because they're gonna do their job. I love it.
Have you heard of the Mountain Dew conspiracy theory?
Mountain Dew? No, I haven't.
This one's fun.
Let's hear it.
Every time Mountain Dew makes a marketing push for a new drink or a new flavor that they have, it coincides with a world event that typically isn't that great.
That's terrifying. Let's hear it.
So Mountain Dew Code Red came out in 2001.
I know what event happened then.
3 months later, after it came out, 9/11 happened.
This is not good.
Maui burst. Right after they dropped that, 3 months later, the wildfires happened in Maui.
Wow, that's crazy.
Are you ready for this one?
Ready.
The Star Spangled Splash came out last year. Do you know who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?
George Washington.
Francis Scott Key. What bridge fell last year in Baltimore? The Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Oh.
Yes!
3 months after?
That's kind of like immediately after that one. Pitch Black. A few years ago, we had a blackout in the IT world. July
Whoa.
19, 2024. Various IT systems around the world experienced an outage.
Mountain Dew dropped it and it went dark.
Yes. Another one. Tropical Swirl. Crazy hurricanes that wouldn't end in Southeast America just a few months after they dropped that flavor.
They also, I just looked it up, they're dropping a Mango Rush flavor.
Yeah.
That might be a flood.
It literally might be.
And you can only get it at Little Caesars.
Ooh.
So where are the most Little Caesars, Zach?
Did you look that up?
No, but we saw one in Houston, Texas.
So you think there's going to be a flood in Houston, Texas?
There might be.
Okay, that may have been a little bit of a reach, but that's pretty funny.
Did you know the universe might be fizzing like soda at the smallest scales? Zoom in a billion times, and you'll find it's actually bubbling like a mad scientist potion. This is called quantum foam. It's where space and time break into tiny bubbles. At the smallest possible scale, called the Planck length, space isn't smooth at all. It's a chaotic mess of appearing and vanishing virtual particles, microscopic black holes, and wormholes that pop in and out of existence faster than you can blink. How small are we talking? If you enlarged a single atom to the size of our entire solar system, the Planck length would still be smaller than a tree on Earth. This foam is like nature's minimum pixel size. You can't zoom in any further. Below this scale, our laws of physics start to break down completely. Some scientists think this quantum foam might be the source code of our universe, the fundamental building blocks of space and time itself. Next time someone says space is empty, tell them about the cosmic soda fizzing at the smallest scale of the universe.
All right, so this is where my brain starts to hurt a bit, because I imagine ourselves as that little thing in the whole grand scheme of the universe, right? We are the cosmic foam, and we have our own little cosmic foam because it keeps going on and on like a Fibonacci sequence, right? So everything that we experience is relative to ourselves and how we experience it. We're not actually 6 feet tall or whatever. We are, minuscule in the whole grand cosmic scheme of things. But what if our little planet is like that? What we're seeing as this cosmic foam, that's us. Exploding brain, right?
Okay, real talk. When I say coldest place in the universe, what pops into your head? Pluto, a black hole, your ex's heart? Wrong. Well, maybe not the last one. But scientifically, the actual coldest place in the universe is something even stranger and way colder than you'd ever guess. Before we get frosty, let's define what cold means out here in the void. In space, cold doesn't just mean, brr, I need a jacket. It's about how fast atoms are moving. The slower they move, the colder it gets. And at absolute zero, which is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, or 0 Kelvin, atoms literally stop moving, like frozen in time, Now, space is cold, yes. The average temp between stars is around minus 270 degrees Celsius. That's just a few degrees above absolute zero. But that's still not the coldest. Even the shadowy side of Pluto is like a toasty vacation spot compared to what we're about to talk about. Shout out to Neptune, though. You're cold, but you're not winning the frosty crown today. Sorry, King. Say hello to the Boomerang Nebula, an innocent-looking cloud of gas about 5,000 light-years away. It's small, it's faint, and it's absolutely freezing. This nebula has a temperature of minus 272.15 degrees Celsius, which is colder than the actual background temperature of space. Yeah, it's somehow colder than the universe itself. It's like the cosmic version of someone leaving the AC on full blast with the windows down during a blizzard. This happens because the gas inside the nebula is expanding really fast, causing it to cool rapidly. Kind of like how air from a spray can feels cold when it's released. But on a galactic level, could anything survive that kind of cold? Short answer, not unless you're a popsicle with a spacesuit. Life as we know it would freeze solid. Even molecules would slow down too much to function. But here's the twist. This is part of a dying star's life cycle. That freezing gas, it's what's left behind as the star sheds its outer layers before collapsing. So, in a weird way, the coldest place in the universe is also the quiet end of a once brilliant star. Beautiful, right? Even in death, the universe makes art.
I find it pretty incredible to think about a star like our sun that generates so much heat, and when it is done, it just generates so much cold. And I think it's even more incredible to think about how we actually know what temperature that area could possibly be, the science and calculations and stuff behind it. I mean, I know it's a lot of supposition because we don't really know everything about the universe. You know, we think we do based on our, relative science. But it is incredible. It really is. I know, I said incredible a whole bunch of times, but you know what? It's incredible.
Kevin McAllister grows up to be Jigsaw? While the theory suggesting the child from Home Alone grows up to be a murderer sounds crazy, it surprisingly has a fair amount of evidence. Other than the obvious shared love of traps between Kevin and the Saw franchise murderer, they actually look exactly like the same person at different ages. Besides appearance and violent tendency similarities, the basement that Kevin is scared of is basically recreated in Saw 2. Weirdly enough, there's a scene in Saw 2 that is also centered around a furnace. In Home Alone, Kevin is scared of the furnace and looks at it like a monster, while Jigsaw uses it to burn someone alive. Is this Kevin trying to get past his childhood fears?
I'm well aware that I am very late to this party. I just learned this last night. I'd never made that connection and I had never heard it before, and I think that's pretty cool. I love when people take movies that are like completely different genres and then they're like, oh, look at these similarities. Maybe this is a prequel of some kind. It's cool.
In America, they are using ice to stop the peaceful protest for burning the town. In Iceland, one town is also burning because of the volcano, and the ice did not work.
Was The Shining Stanley Kubrick's confession to faking the moon landing? Now, a lot of people believe that Stanley Kubrick was the man behind the lunar landing, and considering that 2001: A Space Odyssey only released a year prior to the actual moon landing, I can see why people have reached this conclusion. As looking at some of the scenes within A Space Odyssey, it's not far-fetched to theorise that some of those filming techniques may have been used as a vice to sway the public into believing that we actually landed on the moon, and it's clear that Kubrick was aware of this speculation. As in the case of The Shining, we see Danny wearing an Apollo 11 jumper, which represents the rocket that was used during the supposed lunar landing, and due to this, many believe that The Shining acted as Kubrick's confession to his involvement within the lunar landing. And in support of this idea, many believe that the use of Room 237 as opposed to the novel's Room 217 was done intentionally to represent the 237,000 miles between us and the moon. However, this is easily debunked considering that the room change was actually down to the management of the hotel, with them opting for the change due to Room 237 not actually existing within the hotel, as they believed it may deter future guests from staying in the real Room 217. And if you want to get really specific, the actual distance between the Earth and the moon is actually 238,000 miles. And in addition to this, many believe that the product placement within the Overlook Hotel's pantry also alludes to Kubrick's potential confession, with the pantry containing Tang, which was a sponsor of NASA. However, in reality, I'm not sure if we'll ever know if the moon landing actually happened or not, and if it didn't, I imagine Kubrick was the go-to guy for creating that illusion. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever, and Bandman out.
How peculiar. I was thinking, okay, well, it's a Stephen King novel, and I'm like, I'm gonna look it up, and then boom, he's like, oh, he uses 217 in the book, and Stanley Kubrick changed it to 237. And that's very peculiar, but there are a lot of different things in there that make you think, okay, well, maybe he was just saying, look what I did, little tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. No, I'm still team we went to the moon. Even with stuff like that, I'm still team we went to the moon. It looks like dude was on a trampoline with like a super high speed camera, but how did he? He'd have to like throw the things up and then go like that really fast to catch it. Well, yeah, it looks like, yeah. Trampoline and high speed camera, that's what I'm saying. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, I don't have a series for us to watch today, but I did find a really cool like food conspiracy thing. It's a bit long, but I think it's gonna be exciting, so let's check it out.
Welcome back to Conspiracy Junkie. Here are some more food-related conspiracies that might make you rethink your grocery list. Ever bite into a snack and think, this is suspiciously delicious? Well, you're not wrong. Behind the curtain of colorful packaging and perky jingles, the food industry has cooked up some pretty shocking stuff. And we're not just talking about processed cheese slices that never mold. Let's unravel the wild world of real food conspiracies, some verified, some still debated, but all juicy enough to make you question your next trip to the supermarket. Remember the phrase, bet you can't eat just one. That wasn't a challenge. It was science. In the 1980s and 90s, tobacco giants like Philip Morris quietly bought up food brands, Kraft, General Foods, etc. With them came tobacco scientists who had perfected addiction and now applied those same principles to chips, snacks, and sugary cereals. The tactic? They used bliss point optimization, the precise combo of salt, sugar, and fat that hijacks your brain's dopamine like a Vegas slot machine. The result? Foods designed not just to taste good, but to keep you eating long after you're full. Suddenly, finishing an entire bag of Doritos alone at 2 a.m. didn't feel like a lack of willpower. It was biochemical warfare. Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, was the poster child of genetically modified food controversies. It wasn't just that they made GMO crops, it was how they controlled them. What happened? They patented seeds like they were iPhones. Farmers couldn't legally save or replant seeds from their own crops. They had to buy fresh seeds every year. And if non-GMO farmers accidentally ended up with Monsanto seeds due to wind or pollen drift, lawsuit. Yes, they sued farmers for being accidentally pollinated. It's like your neighbor's music blasting into your yard and you getting fined for liking the tune. Impact? Less biodiversity, more corporate control, and rising concerns over food sovereignty. It sparked protests around the globe and debates that continue today. Aspartame,
More commonly known as aspartame.
the synthetic sweetener in your Diet Coke, wasn't exactly welcomed by the FDA with open arms. In fact, it was initially rejected due to concerns over brain tumors and neurological issues. So how did it get approved? Enter Donald Rumsfeld. Yes, that Donald Rumsfeld. As CEO of GD Searle, the company that made aspartame, he allegedly used political connections in the Reagan administration to push for its approval. Long story short, FDA head changes, aspartame greenlit. Boom, it's in everything from gum to yogurt. Still controversial? You bet. Some studies suggest links to headaches and behavioral effects, though mainstream science calls it safe in moderation. Regardless, the political backstory leaves a weird aftertaste. This one's more tinfoil hat adjacent, but worth including. The theory, fluoride added to public drinking water to prevent cavities, is actually a form of mass sedation or mind control. Some even tie it back to Nazi Germany, though no hard evidence supports that claim. Reality. While most experts agree fluoride reduces tooth decay, critics argue it's unethical to medicate entire populations via water, especially since high levels may pose risks to children's brain development, according to some recent studies. Conclusion: it's probably not mind control, unless your dentist is secretly a government agent. Drive through low-income neighborhoods, and you'll notice a trend. More fast food chains, fewer fresh grocery stores. That's no accident. The theory: food companies intentionally target these areas with cheap, addictive food while limiting access to healthier options, a form of economic and nutritional control. The facts. Data backs it up. Predominantly Black and Latino neighborhoods in the U.S. often face food deserts, lacking access to fresh produce, but drowning in burgers, soda, and fried chicken. Is it systemic racism or just profit-seeking? Maybe both. Either way, the consequences are measurable. Higher obesity, diabetes, and heart disease in affected communities. Food isn't just fuel. It's political, economic, and even ideological. While not every food conspiracy involves secret lizard people, many do involve profits prioritized over public health, questionable science, and a sprinkle of corruption. So next time you're in the snack aisle, take a moment. That innocent-looking granola bar might just be the result of 50 years of corporate maneuvering, political lobbying, and a little mad science.
Well, that certainly did not disappoint. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I know we've covered a lot of those points on this channel. Food is definitely a weapon. It has become a weapon, and it's all in the name of money, and it's pretty disgusting. And I'm going to keep covering it because I love that conspiracy, and it's absolutely disgusting and incredibly interesting at the same time. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and consider subscribing, and then come on back because we're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.
You can't shoot me, I'm not black enough!
All right, so I think the locals left this thing called an energy drink. Let's take a sip.
Oh, I'm gonna crash out!
I don't know what was in that, but I can't freaking sleep. Oh, might as well get morning's grub ready. I'm tweaking.
I was watching some campers earlier. They kept putting this thing to their mouth and sucking on it, creating smoke, so I stole it, and, well, now I can't stop sucking on it.
Some of you in the comments say I'm not real. If I'm not real, could I do this?
Ah!
Okay, which one of you filmed me secretly last week and posted it on TikTok? I'm serious, that was my nap spot.
I see my boys pop these all the time, but they can only take one or two. I'm gonna pop them all because, well, mama didn't raise no bitch.
Guys, I popped them all and I'm straight tweaking now. I can smell fucking colors.